in actual fact, asking for help is a huge sign of strength. And when we can be vulnerable and turn to people who hopefully are empathetic enough to understand, to listen to you, to know that you're opening up to them, to not hold any judgment at all, is so key. So if you are in that place of feeling depressed or low mood, seek ways to reach out. I would say that I did that. And sometimes if you recognize, it's about self-awareness. If you recognize that you have gone a bit insular, that you're not talking, that you're not communicating with people, that's a huge red flag, because we are born to connect, we are born to talk. So if you know they're not doing that, and you might say, oh, I'm an introvert, that's not my natural tendency to do that. However, if you're an introvert and happy, that's different. But if you're being an introvert and you're not happy and you're not feeling that sense of fulfillment, then you need to fill your cup up. So I would say to reach out, whatever that might be. It might be a professional, it might be your GP, it might be a coach, it might be a counsellor, it might be a psychologist, it might be a support group that you can call upon. There's many Facebook groups out there as well that help people through these challenging times. Also, I would say that if you are in that place, a little bit of structure and routine can really help you, because sometimes we can feel out of control, but one thing we can control, hopefully, is our routine and bringing some structure to your day. So whenever I have been feeling low or in a depression state, I make sure that I control my day. I wake up at X, Y, Z time. I plan it all in. I feel empowered in that situation to do that. Exercise, absolutely amazing. A gratitude walk is something that I like to do, and it is shown, research is saying that at least 15 to 20 minutes of a gratitude walk can really help to lift your mood. And a gratitude walk is really intentional. You look around the scenery, you use all of your senses. What are you hearing? What are you seeing? What are you smelling? What are you feeling? What are you even tasting if you're going to stick your tongue out? But what's the richness in that walk? And if you can practice that, even if it's not a gratitude walk, but some sort of exercise, it really helps to just release those endorphins, those lovely feel-good chemicals in our brain. And if you can do that alongside, breathing as well. Sometimes when we're in a state of depression, anxiety, worry, stress, whatever that might be, just a couple of deep breaths can really help to give you some clarity and ground you in the present moment. And that's one of the key things I say is definitely reach out for help. You are not alone. Nobody is alone. You might feel that you are alone, but you're not. It might not be from the people you expect it to be, because sometimes family members and friends, they just aren't equipped to be able to support you in the way that you might want them to. You might not ever get the apology that you wanted from a family member. You might not ever get the acknowledgement, the acceptance from a family member or friends or whoever that might be. But there are other people who are there to listen and to seek those resources as much as you can.
Absolutely. I think I would add to that a couple of things. I think, and it's back to what you've just said. You can only control what you say and what you do. So you can reach out, but you can't control the way people are going to react.
Exactly.
And that's so important to have that in mind when you do that step. You can only control yourself and what you say. The other thing I would say is, and it might sound controversial, but it works so well. It works miracles. When you feel helpless, help someone else. And it's and it's a quote that I absolutely love, that I've learned from Gabby Bernstein, and it's all about it helps you get out of your own head, and by reaching out to someone and asking what they need, how you can help them, you're getting out of your head. So you are, at least for a short amount of time, you stop focusing on what's bringing you down. But also, if you're able to help someone, then you get endorphins, you get dopamine, you get that good feeling, rewarding feeling, because you've done something good for someone else that was selfless. And like that So it sounds very contradictory because you're helping someone to help yourself. So it's not really selfless. It feels like a bit selfish, but it's not, because you've got that moment of you get a break.
Yeah.
From your self-talk when you do that. And I love it. And one very, very easy way to do it is, you were talking about, Facebook groups. There are some brilliant support group on Facebook for people with anxiety and depression. And it's scary, the number of people posting on there, asking for support, talking about how they're feeling. And what I love about this group is that someone posts something and everybody else jumps in straight away and say, no, you're not worthless. Your life isn't worthless. Don't think about it. Like, well, you're going to get better. And everyone is just like here, like cheering each other up and on to try and help each other. And I would say, if you're feeling low, go on that group and comment on someone else's.
100%. I would agree. And you know what, that is such a key point to make, because there's another quote, which is to act without expectation. And it's definitely not selfish, because selfish, we're not talking about an egotistical, self-absorbed, me, glory me type of way. You are actually reaching out to help other people. And according to Tony Robbins as well, one of the key human needs is contribution.
Yes.
Is to go out there and to be able to contribute, and it's so rewarding, which is why I do what I do. Because when I learned through CBT, I was like, so how can I help other people? And that is where you get such a level of fulfillment, to feel like you are contributing and to feel like you are significantly helping people. So absolutely, that is a really fantastic point.
And it does. It's interesting you're saying that, because that is so true. We have a need to contribute, and that helps with that feeling of feeling worthless, because suddenly you see that you are contributing to someone else's, well-being, and so the feeling of worthlessness goes down a little bit.
Yes.
The more you help people, the better you feel. I absolutely love that. So. Yes. Right. So the next point I wanted to discuss with you, and we really need your expertise on this, conflict management. What would be your best tips?
I would say that we have to be very honest. Conflicts and challenges will exist in our relationships, because we are different people. We are ever changing, we're evolving, we're growing as people. Who we were today could be very different to who we were yesterday, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So there will be conflicts within our dynamics of our relationships. I think a key thing is communication, effective communication, because a lot of times when there has been conflict in our relationship, it has been something that has been festering up in us for such a long time. We get to boiling point and suddenly we're just exploding and erupting like a volcano. We're not immaculately using our words. We're not expressing what we want to say in the most positive way or in the most healthy type of way. Yeah. So I would say, when it comes to, conflict management in our relationships, is to feel comfortable and to get comfortable with voicing your concerns, and to do it in a way that shows empathy, understanding, compassion, kindness. And a lot of the time what can help us is to actually plan our conversations, because sometimes you just need to take a step away from that tricky situation and plan what you need to say. Even if you are in the heat of the moment with somebody, say, I'm just going to have to excuse myself because I feel that I'm getting a bit upset by this. So I'm just going to walk away. I'll come back and let's continue the discussion another time, as soon as we can. I think that's one key thing, is to give yourself that time, that space, without reacting. The key thing is to respond, not to react. And quite often we react, but we want to be able to respond. And I always say to change your mindset so that you come from a place of carefrontation, not confrontation. The word confrontation can really make people feel overwhelmed. I'm confronting you. We're going to be defensive. We're going to be like verbal attacks. No, but come from an element of carefrontation. Yeah. So I would always, and what I advise my clients to do, when appropriate, is to plan the conversation. Yeah. So it's really important that you choose your timing. of that conversation. Let's say you've got something that you'd like to speak to somebody about. It could even be your significant other. They come home from work extremely exhausted, and you want to talk to somebody about something that could be quite challenging. That's probably not the best time to have a conversation with them. So always think about the timing of that conversation, the environment as well. If you're going to be talking to somebody who and it's going to be quite a sensitive subject, you might want to choose the environment carefully. You might not want to go to a really busy cafe, when we are able to do that, of course, in this current climate. But you might want to go to a busy place. You're going to want to go to a place where you can have a real peaceful conversation, a nice quiet environment. So also think about your energy that you are bringing to that conversation. We've spoken about energy before. And if you can come with a positive energy and expecting the best outcome from that conversation is key. Not to go, what's the point of this conversation? I'm just going to say, you never listen anyway. That's not the best energy to bring to able to manage that conflict. And the fourth thing I would say is to watch your language, to plan ahead. Now, a lot of the conflict that exists in our relationship happen because we use a lot of accusational, finger pointing language. You did this. When you did this, this happened. Whereas I feel that I statements are very, very powerful.
Yeah.
When this happened, I felt X, Y, and Z, because people can't argue with a feeling. Feelings are your feelings. You cannot tell me that I can't feel sad or I don't feel sad. If I feel sad, I feel sad. If I feel happy, I feel happy. So when you come from I felt X, Y, and Z, when you said this to me, I felt really upset. I felt worthless. I'm not sure whether you recognize that, and just open up the discussion to it. And I think it's so important that we can voice our concerns. And a really interesting acronym that was presented to me a few years ago, and I believe it was from a lady called Jodie Goldman, who is a fantastic motivational coach, and she does great work when it comes to helping people to live their best lives. She spoke about the Eros technique, and when I thought about Eros, I thought, oh, is that like the Greek god?
Yes, I was thinking that.
It's always stuck in my mind because it's a lovely acronym because it brings the love to that conversation. So basically, a lot of times there's conflicts because we have expectations and our expectations aren't being met. So E is the expectation. E. So Eros is EROS. E is expectations. So what is the expectation that was not met? R is where you start to think, okay, so in reality, this is what happened. My expectation was this. The reality, R, is this happened. O, you open up the discussion. And an S is the solution. You come up with a solution. So if you can plan that structure into your conversation, saying, thinking, okay, this is what I want to say to you. This is going to help manage my conflict. My expectation was this. The reality was this. Let's talk about it, being open. And S, so what is going to be the win-win solution out of this? And I think one of the key things is to know that it's about, not always about compromise, but it's more about cooperation. How can you cooperate with each other in order to get the best solution?
I absolutely love that.